Hey, Moral Gamers, we're back. We're talking about E3 and the recap. As you know, E3 just ended, so we're just going to take a moment here, recap a lot of the big stories. Now, obviously, we had upcoming Xbox One, not to be confused with the original 2003 model, but the Xbox One is coming out, and then the PlayStation 4, and both Sony and Microsoft have made some interesting proposals as far as how their system's going to be, and they basically made their showing this week. So I think the biggest news for gamers is going to be the used game trade, because obviously what Microsoft is doing is they're locking it down still. And it's interesting because a week or so ago, maybe a little older, Microsoft announced that, hey, used games are going to have to require authorization. So in order to buy a used game, you'd have to, like, say, go into GameStop. You couldn't just go into a pawn shop and, everything's fine. But specific vendors would have the ability to unlock games so it could be resold to someone else. Otherwise, if I have an Xbox One title and I want to loan it to my friend Bob, Bob there has to have my gamer tag in order to play it, which that was a bit much control, guys. I mean, we kind of understand with PC how things are going, how, like, with Steam, you buy it and that's it. You can be the only one, but games has not had that model. Games is for consoles, console games has always had the free, open. You can trade, you can swap, you can pawn shop them, whatever. There hasn't been that much control on that for, well, ever. I think the only game right now, current generation, that's using a lot of control is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. And if you'll notice, that game, it's sold, but it hasn't sold as well as it could. And they did a lot to basically lock it down to your system, which is actually, I think, in some ways hurt Sony. And I think after Sony not only reading the blogs, but the backlash, Sony basically took the opposite of Microsoft, and they said, you know what? We're just going to take and we're going to leave it as is. So with Sony getting better approval ratings, Microsoft turned around and now are blaming the developers, which is an interesting one. They're saying, okay, well, it's now up to the developers if they want to lock their games down. Well, thanks, Microsoft, but you're the one who invented the technology. You're the one who started the whole movement, and now you're telling us, okay, well, it's on the developers to do this. I'm Microsoft. You run for office. Yes, run for office, because that is the best political answer you can give. Other things, the PlayStation 4 does not need to be online at all times, which, wow, Microsoft's, one of their executives made a very bold statement, and this is very frustrating for me too. He says, the Xbox One will be online at all times, and if you want a system that's not online always, then we do have a solution for that. It's called the Xbox 360. Geez, nothing says screw you to our military like, hey, get the last gen system. We don't want to support military. I mean, there are guys who maybe in Afghanistan currently, they may be serving our country, and as they're deployed in their downtime, you got to do something to de-stress. I mean, you're under fire always, and yeah, you got to do something to de-stress. So if they want to play their Call of Duty, if they want to play their, Need for Speed, whatever, you can't do it on the Xbox One if you don't have internet. And, like, the military's really going to give them access to playing online. I mean, there's security stuff and all that one. I'm not in the military, but I mean, I would imagine security nightmares and crap like that. So Microsoft's now saying, well, if you're in the military, screw you. Stick with the 360. I think Sony, because of Microsoft doing this, is really going to stand out, really going to have room to build up a lot more, excuse me, support from the gamers community. Now, Sony, on the other hand, is kind of doing something I don't like, and Sony is turning around. They're saying, okay, we're going to adopt the Microsoft model of online gameplay. It's not absolutely confirmed, but a lot of what they said at E3 is, okay, now you're going to have the ability to be a PlayStation Plus member, you're still going to get the free games a month, and you'll have access to online play. But they never said anything about people who aren't PlayStation Plus members being able to play online. They just said, you'll be able to enjoy single-player games. Okay, are you saying that we're going to have PlayStation Plus now. I mean, PlayStation Plus has been wonderful in the PS3. I've been able to get 4, 5 free games a month. It's great. Loving it. But the problem I see with that though is Sony has always had this open model of anyone can play online any title. You don't have to have a membership. And that was really the strongest point because uh, as a PlayStation 2 had a crappy network, PlayStation 3 really built up something solid, got more support, more buy-in, and now PlayStation 4 it's going to be user buy-in. It's kind of a step back. And Microsoft is picking up the pace there because now they're going to do similar to what Sony's doing with the PlayStation Plus, where if you're an Xbox Live Gold member, you're going to get X number of free games over the course of a year. Whether that's going to be as good as the PlayStation 3's PlayStation Plus or not has yet to be determined. I mean, we'll see what happens. But Xbox is also moving. I believe it was Netflix and some of the other video streaming. They're going to move that more towards being an Xbox Silver membership. So if you don't like want to pay the gold membership, you can still access that stuff offline. Still need to be online always for your Xbox One, but you can still access a lot of stuff offline. And of course, there's the redesign of the Xbox 360, which is coming out. Which, okay, whatever. It's a newer, redesigned Xbox 360. Who cares? Are you going to do like Sony did and give us backwards compatibility again? Because I know Microsoft's been not necessarily supporting a lot of the older Xbox classic games, but on the 360 they really haven't been supporting the backwards compatibility. It was big when it first came out, but now it's just kind of like, yeah, we're losing interest in that. So we're gonna see how this all pans out. But at launch, the price difference: PlayStation 4 is gonna run $400. Your Xbox One's gonna be $500. Yeah, Sony is really sticking it to Microsoft. They're really saying, "Hey, screw you guys. We want to dominate this next. We want to dominate this next round." As far as the camera goes, Xbox, you have to have the Kinect camera on at all times. Is it going to be spying on you in your living room? And Microsoft says no. Everyone knows if you're a conspiracy nut. I am to some degree, unfortunately, but I could see Xbox doing stuff like that under government contract, especially with, I don't want to get too much into politics, but this whole Verizon thing where the government now is monitoring phone calls and whatnot. I could see them going as far as saying, okay, Microsoft, we want to monitor what people are doing in their living rooms, but hey, that's for people to worry. If you have a camera in your living room, obviously there's going to be an opportunity for someone to monitor you, and it is what it is, guys. So how comfortable are you with that? With the PlayStation 4, though, as I saw at least, they said that's not going to require the camera. That the camera is pretty much going to be enhancements. So for some of the additional features in certain games, whatever. So we'll see how that works out. And I want to go back a little bit in the PlayStation 3. They had a game called Get Fit with Mel B. It was a Spice Girl workout that I did a while back as a review. And I'm wondering if PlayStation is going to try and do that again, because that particular software was essentially using the iToy, or the PlayStation 3 iToy, PlayStation 3 i, whatever it is they call it, as a Kinect camera. And while it doesn't have the dual lens, so you can't get the more accurate assessment of what's going on from movement, I'm wondering if Sony's not going to try and do some of that the best they can, as good as possible, with the PlayStation 4. I mean, time will tell. But what's coming up with these next consoles, it looks like it's going to be status quo for games. They didn't really reveal anything that's going to be super. Nothing really is going to stand out as being, wow, this is groundbreaking gameplay. Sony, on the other hand, though, I do have to mention that they're getting a lot of support from the indie community. Sony's actually pouring money into it, if people didn't notice that. And with Sony doing that, it looks like we're going to have an opportunity to see some fresh perspectives on games. Maybe we'll see more Unfinished Swan type games. Maybe we'll see, hopefully not Nit, because Nit, oh my gosh, that game was like a lot of exploration, but kind of boring. But maybe we'll see some games that break the norm of the genre. I mean, like when Portal came out, that was definitely a groundbreaking, genre-bending game. Mirror's Edge, and the Mirror's Edge 2 is actually coming out too, by the way. Uh, Hopefully we'll see new innovations in games. But ultimately, it seems to me like it's going to be gaming as usual. And I'm disappointed. I love the Rock Band. I love Dance Dance Revolution. I mean, I even go as far back to like the Genesis. It had this little octagon thing that you'd stand in, the activator. That's what it was called. In certain games that supported it, you could take and you could wave your hand over different parts of the octagon, and it would perform different moves on for your character, and it was really sweet, really innovative. And I want to see more innovation, not necessarily like that, but if not peripherals, at least in gameplay. But time is going to be the teller in this one. And speaking of innovation, the Wii made a very poor showing. I mean, you're going to have more staples, your Mario, Donkey Kong, whatever on the Wii U. Okay, whatever, guys. You're regurgitating old stuff, feeding it to us, and telling us, "Oh, hey, this is Nintendo." Come on, Nintendo. You guys had some of the most groundbreaking games back in the Super Nintendo era, and then you brought it into the N64. Mario 64 may not, at least in my opinion, be the definitive 3D platformer, but of that era, it was one of the ones that actually opened our eyes to what you could do in a 3D world. And then with the GameCube, Nintendo did Luigi's Mansion, a few other games that Eternal Darkness was another one that stood out as just like innovative games that actually screwed with you a little bit. But moving forward, Nintendo seems like it's we got the Wii, we tried to do a little bit with the motion controller. We're now giving you a tablet with your system in the Wii U, but it's not like they're doing anything really strong, anything that's really going to advance Nintendo or try anything new. It seems like they're still regurgitating old systems. I will give a shout out though for Mega Man. Mega Man joining the Smash Brothers, the next Smash Brothers. Looking forward to that one. Only because Smash Brothers, it's a tried and true. You know, it's like PlayStation All Stars. Well, PlayStation All Stars is like that, but still, it's going to be interesting because we get to see, okay, are they going to try anything new, or is it still going to be the same old Smash Brothers that we've had all along? And realistically, the pinnacle of Smash Brothers for me was Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube, because it really made a jump and improvement over Smash Brothers. But then Smash Brothers Brawl, that one just seemed to kind of go downhill for me, especially trying to use the Wiimotes to play. Had to use a GameCube remote to actually make it somewhat enjoyable. Excuse me. But we'll see what happens with Smash Brothers Melee. Not Melee, but the next Smash Brothers. I mean, it's either going to be cool or not. And there's rumors, I don't know, I didn't catch all the Nintendo stuff, and I hope they do this, but there was rumors of crossplay between the 3DS and the Wii U. And if there is, hey, that would be awesome. I would love to see some more cross-compatibility, cross-play options. But if all they're going to do, though, is just have another Smash Brothers, and then, like, whoever gets the tablet gets to be fifth player, great, guys. Whatever. You're not really doing much to expand our gaming experience. So overall, E3 for me, the big news again was PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Nintendo made a very poor showing. Actually, I should digress quick. I think Xbox is really looking to screw themselves over this time around. They're not doing anything really to expand the console or make it as user friendly as the 360 was. As far as games come up, I mean, we're going to see a lot of next-gen games coming, but it's going to be gaming as usual. Nobody's really trying to expand. Nobody's really trying to build anything newer than what we've been seeing. So, ultimately, this next gen, it's status quo, guys. Hopefully, we get some brave souls out there who are willing to push new games. Well, this is the Moral Gamer signing off. Hope you've enjoyed Uncharted 3 here. This one actually went free on PlayStation, so I figured I'd give her a whirl. And we'll be doing a review upcoming on Uncharted 3. But yeah, please remember to subscribe, like or dislike this video. It doesn't matter. Every little bit helps. Thank you. Have a great day.